Very good. Does anybody else have any questions for either Stephanie or Tara?
I was kind of curious, what type of 16mm camera did you use?
Would someone repeat that?
What type of 16mm camera did you use?
The 16mm was an Arriflex. It was a German camera, produced in about 1979-80, and it took 400-foot rolls of Kodak film, and still then in 1980 there was no laboratory in New Zealand. You sent it to Sydney to the Adelaide, so you waited 8 days for it to come back, and that was important because a lot of you will have heard about, for example, you will have heard about the Bolex, the German camera that was used in the front of the Second World War, and then you will have heard how lots of people got into Super 8 video and such film, you know, things like that. But the key is, if you're going to have discourse or movement that is complex and needs progressions, developmental progressions, you have to have more potential for the single take.
Yeah.
The single take was the real breakthrough from 100-foot rolls in the Bolex to the 400-foot film can was that big. And then, of course, as I say, going to digital. I mean, the next film was FTP files, and then it became streaming by the time it was marketed.
Is there another one at the back? Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
That's Emma.
Yes. I was just wondering, most 28 minutes, I especially didn't really feel any kind of male voice.
Can someone pass on Emma's question?
I didn't really feel like any kind of male voice or male presence throughout, and I just wanted to know, was that any part of your intention when providing that sort of joyful tone?
Emma just asked, in the 28 minutes, she didn't notice any male voice or presence, and so wanted to know if that was an intentional part of the making of that movie.
And also with the overall subject matter.
And the overall subject matter, there was kind of no male energy or presence.
Well, by default,
Speak loud, Steph. Speak louder.
Louder.
Yeah.
By default, there was no requirement for the male voice, as sufficient was being expressed by the competence of the facilitator, Maggie Eyre, to understand her role was to take them step by step through developmental procedure. And she might have been Marcel Marceau, but she was not. She was Maggie Eyre. But you can well imagine that it was the studying of mime and theatre, sport, which was the European, the French, from the Italian, from the commedia, where there were men. There were men. Remember? It wasn't until you got through to movement like Pina or the German choral material, chorus material in mime, and you don't need voice, remember, because your body's the voice, remember. So yeah. So there was no requirement for the man. There was no Miss Cunningham or Baryshnikov. I went and saw Rudolph Nureyev dance. It was the first thing I saw when I went to London. But none of these women were doing leaps. You see what I mean? So it is deeply lithe, the language of lithe in its own idiosyncratic way.
I think we've run a little bit over time, but I would definitely encourage everyone to make their way upstairs and check out the exhibition if you haven't already. We close at 4, so it really is your last chance to have a look, and I'm sure Stephanie will be available upstairs if anyone wants to have a chat.
Before people go, and before there's one question from the floor, can I just also, I have a gift.
Oh.
David.
I would like to ask Maggie, if I could. I know she's not on your panel, but Maggie, could you just give us a little quick summary of what you look like 45 years later? When you see it, how does it look to you?
The thing that I notice is the young voice. the young voice. I see this innocent, kind of almost naive, like I had to sit there and go, make friends with her and not judge her, because it's very hard for me at my age now. But when I look at, I thought, oh my God, in the corporate world, which is my playground now, and I teach theatre skills in corporate, I'm doing a lot of that now in the corporate world. And a lot of my clients hate being an animal or an ape or running around kissing a frog or whatever. They're not doing that. I'm looking back and going, my gosh, the clients now are so scared to fully express themselves. What blew me away was me looking at the women and thinking, oh my, and I remembered all of them. I thought, my God, they weren't like that in the beginning when they first arrived. And I thought, oh my God, it's like they transformed and were so trusting. You know, Leon Nabi, one of the top cameramans in the country, was there, and there's women nude in the bush. I would not do that now, take my corporate clients into the bush. I would not earn any money. Maybe I'd earn more, I don't know. It's been a tough recession, but what I see is this young, innocent, and yeah, sitting there felt really weird, but I'm as passionate now with my work as I was then. And strangely enough, and I don't know why, I've attracted in the last year senior female women, senior women to work with, general managers, CEOs. Most of my clients in the corporate world were men. But in the last year, I'm going, oh my God, this is interesting. And I'm talking about women who are very senior who've lost all their confidence.
Wow.
They've lost their confidence in the corporate world because they're told they shouldn't do this, they shouldn't do that, they speak too fast, whatever it is. And in a way, I look at that and go, I'm still doing that to build them up so they have their own charisma and to teach them how to be themselves.
Great.
So I had no idea how I was going to feel coming here today. I was nervous, but I think what a little sweetheart she was. I mean, I just go, oh my God, did I do all that? But yeah, it's.
It was your sense of authority and confidence that came across.
Thank you. And I was looking at that thinking, gosh, you're a bossy bitch, shouldn't you?
No, it was authority.
Yeah, thank you.
It wasn't bossiness,
Thank
it
you.
was
Yeah.
authority. It came from inside.
Yeah.
May I also, in compliment to what you passed on as a compliment to Maggie, and the beauty, of course, of the process is, as you know, the film process is in the edit suite. So I was with Del King for 6 weeks in Wellington, cutting that on Wells Street, and she went through a transformative experience herself, realising she had to start that film with a nude walk through the bush and end it. She had to come to that realisation and also realise, I've never produced it, I'd like to now I've seen this. And also, don't forget, the editing process is 50% of your ratios, with enough choice in the ratios of your shoot to be able to build its own internal narrative, to show the developmental stages, to show the confidence all the way through. I wish, before you disperse and we disperse, to make a couple of announcements. After this building closes, we've gathered together a spot where anyone would care to join us. We can go on for a drink at...
The bar is called 1901.
1901, a
It's
bar
on Ponsonby Road.
on Ponsonby Road. What I wish to do before we leave, in terms of thanks to Gus Fisher coming together to put on having it all, is I want to pay regard to the precedent that Yoko Ono set for understanding the importance of performance art requiring the participation of the audience. No longer were you a viewer, a voyeur, a disturber, or a freak show in the audience. You joined in openly appreciating what was going on. And so this clip, it's been wonderful to come up. I came up in March to see it, and I've seen it again, where she did the performance at Carnegie Hall, and she did about 5, wearing elegant clothing, which she in a very poised manner, asked members of the audience to come up and cut into a piece of their choice, and they took a piece of her dress away with her. So as you leave tonight, I have 27 images which are stills from the slides as prints, and I would love to give out 27 to you. as mementos that you can take home. So anyone would care, out of 27, I have lovely images from what you've been looking at as stills.
Thank you.
If you'd like one, come and get one if you'd like one. Perhaps I'll do it. Yeah.